Hello, everybody, and thanks very much to my colleague who handed over. Much appreciated. As I put a little bit too early in the stream, my name is um, Neil Kenny, and I'm chair of the Master of Education in Autism program. So that's what I'm going to talk to you about just for the next 10-15 minutes. Just to warn you in advance, there's no visits to the Gaeltacht involved in this program, in case anyone's hanging out waiting for that. So hang on till Okay, I hope everyone can see that. Um, as I said, I'm here to talk to you about the Master of Education in Autism program, which is a level 9 master's program that you may have heard Elizabeth talk when she was talking about the Master in Special Education Needs program. There's some sharing of content in this program, but this is very much focused on teachers working with autistic students at primary level, at post-primary level, at special school level, or in recognised education centres who hope to develop an understanding of autism as a phenomenon, develop an understanding of autistic people and increase their understanding of where the autistic people they work with are coming from, and develop expertise in evidence-informed approaches to supporting access to education and facilitating relationships to develop capacity and life skills among the autistic young people they work with. So it's a blended level 9 program that runs across 2 years. And it's really tailored to the needs of teachers that are working in busy schools who work regularly with autistic young people. Now, these can be teachers working in classes designated for autistic people, so special classes or hubs or whatever it's called in your school, but it's also very relevant for teachers in SET roles, those in resource learning support roles, or mainstream teachers who work on an ongoing basis regularly with autistic young people. There's been a huge increase in autistic young people in mainstream Irish schools and mainstream Irish classes, while much of the talk is about special classes or autism classes or whatever you want to call them. 2/3 of autistic young people are in mainstream classes, working with mainstream class teachers. Now, the other thing I think is important about this is that graduates of the graduate diploma and including in learning support and the graduate certificate in the education of autistic pupils are eligible for direct entry into year 2 of the MAIDA program, which I'll talk a little bit about later. So while this is tailored as a blended program where some of the content is online and a small number of it, or a small amount of it, is on campus, really it's tailored to fit with the busy work life of teachers in school settings. But what needs to be understood is that while a lot of the content focused on, for example, developing communication and language and using resources to support that, or developing social and emotional learning and interpersonal skills, a lot of the assessment, the development of planning, development of understanding and relationships with the autistic young people you work with will apply across a range of neurodevelopmental differences that are extremely common in Irish schools. Remember, 1/5 of students and pupils enrolled in schools in the Irish state at present have a learning difference. So this is incredibly valuable information across a range of students that you're going to be working with. But if you work regularly with autistic young people, this is the program for you. So if you're looking at year 1, there's 4 modules that you'll be addressing. Now, 2 of these focus on the theoretical and understanding aspects of the autistic young people and autism as a phenomenon. So to develop your understanding of these young people. So this is Understanding Autism module and Wellbeing Along the Continuum, which looks at supporting thriving among autistic pupils, young people and young adults that you work with. And it's assessed with an essay assignment in the second semester of first year. The first assignment you'll have is getting straight in there with learning how to develop use assessments to assess communication language, social emotional learning, emotional well-being, and a range of other core features of the differences associated with autism. So that's assessment, profiling and planning, and you'll be submitting detailed assessment report based on your working with a student in your own setting in semester 1. In semester 2, you'll be developing your ability to develop plans, and you'll receive 2 visits from staff to supervise your teaching work and your implementation of what you've learned in the program with your students in your class, and they'll mentor you with that. And then finally, there's the essay, as I said, for the understanding autism and well-being along the continuum modules in year 1. The structure of it is that there will be some live classes delivered over the internet via Zoom, online platforms using our Loop virtual learning environment. So very flexible, very accessible, much like I'm talking to in my front room. This is how you would access this. And it's at evening times during the week. There's 4 weekend workshops, which would comprise a Friday evening online class and then on-campus classes in the St. Patrick's campus in Drumcondra. There's 4 of them across the year. Now, the year 2 of the program builds on what you learned in year 1 and really seeks to sort of develop your ability to translate what you know into practice in your own school, work with colleagues to share this valuable information and know-how that you've developed and access to resources, but also learn how to guide your own learning, and you'll work collaboratively with peers, learn to access best practice, research literature or resources that are available to support autistic young people, and you'll also learn about your verbal and written communication skills so you can lead inclusive practice within your own school. So the real emphasis on a whole school practice and working collaboratively with the young people themselves, with their parents, with your colleagues and school leaders, so to bring about structural and systemic change in your own setting. And again, the delivery is a week-long summer school, which Elizabeth would have been talking about, which is shared with the MSEN cohort as well, which will focus on developing research methods to support your research work in doing your thesis across the year 2. This is blended, and we're going through the accreditation with the DES at the moment, so it'll be eligible for EPV days. There will be a range of live Zoom classes and recordings, which again will be accessed via the internet, online fora as before, and there will be 3 weekend workshops on campus as well. Developing, I suppose, interpersonal peer learning and feedback skills, as well as some of the research methods specific skills. So the 3 assignments, first of all, is your research methods assignment, which is really core to developing your understanding of how to, I suppose, read research, understand evidence, and then put it in place in your own research work as part of your dissertation. The second assignment will focus on whole school evidence-informed practice, whereby you'll be looking to put in place evidence-informed practice and work as part of a peer learning environment with other colleagues on the program, and you'll be assessed using a portfolio of professional practice. So that's submitted in February, and your dissertation is then finally submitted in June, and at that point you will have attained a Master's of Education in Autism. So the eligibility requirements for accessing this program are that you work regularly with autistic pupils and young people on a regular basis, and this will really support you in your completion of the assignments, that you'll be working in a school or recognised education centre regularly with autistic young people, and that you maintain this role across the duration of the program. For those that have completed the graduate diploma or the graduate certificate within the School of Inclusive and Special Education here in DCU, you're eligible for entry into year 2 of the program, and you should contact me to follow up on that. So the quickest way really to find out about the program, I will share the link with you in a minute, but if you just Google Master of Education in Autism and DCU, it will come up straight away. or I'll share a direct link with you there. So the closing date for applications for those looking to enter year 2 of the program is May 2nd. The deadline for applications for those looking to enter year 1 is May 26th. And I'll share the link that you can access the online prospectus. And with an interview with a previous graduate of the program who can tell you how they put what they learned into practice in their own school setting. You can contact me for more information. My email address is neil.kenny@dcu.ie. And as Elizabeth would have talked about, there's a range of tax reliefs and other bursary resources that we would encourage you to offset against your fees, which are roughly about €4,500 a year. There have been a number of autism education scholarship awards as well over the last number of years. At the moment, we're negotiating their availability for the coming number of years. So please contact me if you're interested in applying and if you hope to apply for a scholarship. Although other previous graduates have applied through the INTO as these scholarships or have claimed back tax relief on their fees. So there is some relief from the burden.